What's up, everybody? I'm interviewing William O'Keefe today. He's been making short films as an independent filmmaker for about 5 years now, and he's coming out with his film Daydream, and that's what we're here to talk about today. Tell me.
Let's clink. Let's cheers.
All right, cheers, brother. So tell us about Daydream, man. When did you first get the inspiration for this film?
Well, I've always liked dreams. Like there's lucid dreaming, daydreaming. If you ever had like sleep paralysis, where you're aware of that you're awake, but you can't move your body because the part of your brain that like controls your motor skills aren't on. So like I've had like a time when I was like sleeping in a chair, but I knew I was in the chair, but I couldn't move my body. So I'm really interested in dreams. Like we don't really know why we have them, you know, like, or like what they represent, because I know like you can have them when you've had like a traumatic experience, and then you get like nightmares, and you can just have dreams that represent things that, or just weird dreams, and you know, like little things like represent things like, oh, like if you saw that person in your dream, then that means that's talking about something that happened like a week ago. So I'm really interested in dreams, and my second year in college, I had to write a script, and I wrote Daydream. The next year I had to shoot it, and I didn't have a lot of friends, so I ended up shooting the whole thing like completely by myself. Like I played both roles. At the time there was no Marceline character, it was just Lucas and Robert, and I like set up the camera, then I went around and like, you know, like I said the lines. But now like this Daydream is like professionally done. I have actors, cast and crew, all that. So I've always liked dreams, and I've always liked mysteries, and Daydream is like a modern noir thriller. So that, yeah.
And tell whoever's listening to this what a modern noir.
Right. Well, so what a noir film is, it's like mysterious. There's crime. There's a femme fatale, which means like a strong woman who's, you know, she is mysterious. And it's almost always, noirs are always black and white. But this is color because it's modern, and there's a little sci-fi with the dreams. Like Lucas goes into this like dream world, and you see him in it. And so it's like a mixture of like sci-fi and noir.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm really trying to do like my own genre. Like this isn't something you can fit in one category.
When people see your films, people see this new genre or this type of film you're trying to make, what do you want them to feel? Let's start with Daydream film.
Right.
What do you want them to feel after? What are you hoping they feel and experience when they see Daydream?
So in general, to just backtrack, my directing style is very like, when I'm like going about my day, and like either I have to like sit on the train and wait, or I'm at the train station and I have to wait, or I'm just waiting in general, I like to look at things in an odd way, or like look at something and be like, you know, that's a interesting composition with the lighting and then the depths and stuff. So I like to make shots really unique. Like I'll shoot a whole scene through a reflection of through a window. So you won't even like, or I'll have a whole scene where it's two people talking, but you only see one of the characters, because it gives you that feel of like when me and you are talking, you don't see yourself. You know what I mean? But in a film, it like to show, it would cut between the two of us.
Where did you
start, like, what got you to this point of Daydream? What are some of the, things in your life, things, I know you said you liked dreams, but how did you feel, why were you confident that you could create a story and then write a story and then film this story? What made you confident to, because dreams are dreams, and that seems like a difficult thing to do.
Right. If you picked something like a story about like outer space, we don't know much about outer space. So when you're writing like the rules of in the film, it's like you get to make it up. So like I don't know, in Star Wars, like lightsabers, they don't explain the science behind like how they're made or anything like that. So it's like, and the Force is completely made up. Like Lucas just decided to do that. Right. So, and it's like the same for dreams. We don't really know much about them, so I can kind of just make up the stuff that we don't know. Like I can make up the unknown and just kind of use my own imagination to like fill that spot. So I think I'm a very imaginative, creative person, and I think I can use dreams as like a science fiction way of doing it.
Have you always been an imaginative, creative person?
Oh yes. Before I got into film when I was 16, I would like write short stories, or I would like doodle. I would try to do like a comic book strip or something. So even though before I knew how to use a camera or even had one, I knew I was very creative. I always wanted to like tell stories. I love telling stories. Yeah. One other thing I'll add on to that is the stories that I tell, I want to be like philosophical. Like I want you to think about like what happened. So it may not be completely like emotional, like a tragedy happening, but it's like it's a moral dilemma. Like do I do this but then hurt this, or do I keep them but then hurt the other people? So it's about like morality, like I said, philosophy, and I like to make you think. In Daydream, there's a lot that you don't see. Like there's a lot of stuff. Daydream has a lot of information. Like there is it's a short film, but there's a lot that goes on. But there's a lot that you have to like, not guess, but like kind of like figure out on your own. Like you have to be really like tentative when you watch the film. Yeah, so you can get all the hidden messages and meanings.
I like that. That's one thing.
I'll give you one.
I mean, I've had the privilege of watching it.
Right.
So I'm with you. Got the sneak peek, but I won't give any spoilers. But
well, yeah. I'll give one little one. There's an owl, a glass carved owl, and symbolically owls kind of like represent death, and owls are they symbolize wisdom, and I always liked owls. In fact, where I grew up, there was like this fake owl statue on the roof, so then birds wouldn't like land on the roof of my house, and I've always liked that. I like owls, and so there's it's never brought up, but there's some owls in the shots. So if you take a look, you'll see them if you're looking.
Wow! All right, look for the owls. So let's get into cast and characters of this film. How did you model these characters off of, and talk to us about who's in this film?
Right. So just a little summary. The main character, Lucas, is having an affair with this woman named Marceline, and this Lucas's boss kind of also is in love with Marceline, and one day Robert sees the two of them together, and that gets him upset. So he plots a plan. The plan, and I'm not gonna spoil, but the fact that he saw the two of them together and he's like outraged is like what happens. I don't, if you look back at like all of my films, so I have a brother, my twin brother, and
Sure.
I would spend a lot of time with him. So I feel like a lot of my films are almost always like guy to guy relationships, like two bros. Yeah, like every film. So this one's about like Lucas and Robert, who are friends, but they're in love with the same girl. So it's like Robert is trying to be sneaky, and Lucas is also like not trying to let anyone know about Marceline and him. So there's a lot of like layers of sneakiness and like whose plan do you know of and all that. Yeah.
Okay. And what was one of the hardest parts about, writing? I feel like, we know and other people know. Writing is some of the hardest parts. What was some of the hardest parts of writing that seems like a difficult character dynamic?
Yeah.
How was the writing process like? Or what was the writing process?
Many drafts. But I wrote this over years, like I wrote it in college, and then a few years later I changed it almost completely. So it's been through a lot of versions, but I had a really difficulty with the ending because when I watch a film or even like a show, in the finale, it's like it could be a great show, but then the way it ends is just, really? Like, unsatisfying. So I had an ending to this, and for years, like, I was like, alright, you know what, I'm gonna end it like this. But it was never like, it never felt like the right ending, you know what I mean? Like, like it's like the last piece of the puzzle, and it's like, you kind of gotta jam it in. So it's not like the perfect piece, but I finally found, I think I found the perfect piece, and I placed it in, and now I think it's a really nice whole puzzle together. So writing wise, the ending is the biggest thing for me, because that's the last thing you think about of seeing the film. Production wise, not too bad. Shooting it was a 2-day shoot. The first day was like 10 hours, which is standard for hour level. But then the next day was pretty late. We ended up ending at like 2 in for the night shots, because the first day it rained, so we couldn't do the night shots outside. So we had to do, it's just scheduling. And then post-production, like the editing was pretty smooth. It took just a couple months. Film festivals is doing good. I got some awards. I got awarded for Best Actress for Audrey Owen. She plays Marceline. And then Best Original Score from my composer Noah Hortzowitz. I think that's how you say his last name. And then another one for cinematography by Ron Wilson. He was my director photographer. He did a really great job. On the set, before we even started shooting, I did a little small meeting, and I told everyone, like, mostly to Ron, but every shot has to be a masterpiece in its own. And that, like, it took really long. Like, Audrey, the actress, she had to catch a train because she lived in New York. So we had to get her stuff done before, midnight so she could get home. But I really wanted to take my time and make sure every shot was perfect. Because I knew if I missed something, I could definitely come back another day to do reshoots. So I really wanted to make sure to like just take my time, don't rush it, make sure it looks good, because I'd rather have a great film halfway done than a bad film completely finished.
Mm.
You know, like, because then at least I could show, like, alright, I only got 5 minutes out of a 10-minute film, but hey, those 5 minutes were great, am I right? Then compared to, like, a 10-minute film that, you know, has, like, bad audio or just bad color correction or something.
Right.
So yeah, I'm really proud with my team, my cast and crew that helped me out. They did a great job, and I'm happy with the way Daydream came out at all, completely.
Is there anything you can look back on? Because it seems like you're very proud of this work. Looking back on the filming process and the days, the long days, you went till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Talk to us about some of the most challenging moments, if there are any, or what was the most challenging moments making this?
Well, there was one scene, and it was just like it was a cloudy day. It was just one of those days, and so you don't like. We had the windows, the shades up, so we could use the sunlight. But because the clouds were coming like over all the time, we couldn't get consistent lighting. So it was like, so Ron, my DP, was telling my grips and gaffers like, all right, we gotta change it now. And then 15 minutes later, the sun would be behind the clouds, and we were like, all right, we gotta do the lighting over again.
Mm.
So the lighting was definitely hard, but. So another thing about noirs is the lighting and shadows, hard shadows. So like noirs will have a lot of lighting where it's like only half of the face is lit up.
Mm.
And there is some of that. There is some shadows and cool lighting. There's a whole scene, well, not a whole scene, sorry. There's a shot where it's the camera's on the table and the glasses are shown. And you basically see through the glasses for the whole shot. It's Lucas getting in bed. He just took some melatonin so he can be asleep. But yeah, I really, like I said before, I really like to have cool shots. And filmmaking is a visual storytelling. It's very visual, so I wanted to make it, I just wanted to do shots that I've never seen in movies. Like I wanted to do something new.
Wow. Was there anything you've watched to help you out in creating this? Like, anything that inspired you that you saw?
So it's funny. When I wrote the script like I said, in school, in that class, after I read it out loud for everyone. Someone said that it was very much like the movie Donnie Darko.
Mm.
Danny Darko?
I think it's Donnie Darko. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I've never seen this movie. And he's like, you must have, because this is very similar. I'm like, really? So then a few days later I saw it, and I was like, huh, this is pretty close. And that's, I would say that's a cult classic, that movie.
Oh, yeah.
So it's pretty funny how that I didn't even see the movie, and it's like very similar to that.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. What's your favorite part of making this film? What was your favorite part?
Well, I think my favorite part of making any film is being on set. You know, it doesn't even matter what role. I could be the grip or the director. Just being on set with my friends. Sometimes I enjoy just being like the gripper gaffer, and I just get to watch how the director handles it, or like if they have a bloody scene or something, how they do it, so then I can kind of like get inspired by the other people. But when I'm directing on set, I'm very like I'm very just about the performance. Like, of course, like I want the shot to be perfect, but that's why I'll hire someone who's good at getting the shots, like Ron Wilson. So I don't have to worry about like how it'll look on camera. I'm just about how it'll look in general, like the performance of the actors and how that will be. So when I'm on set, I'm not behind the camera. I'm just there watching the performance, saying action and cut. I'm very laid back. And this is like, just other than having a good cinematographer, I pick actors who I know I don't have to like, I can rely on. You know, like I don't need to ask them, or they don't need to ask me like what the line might be, or like they don't understand like why the character would do something. Like no, they completely understand the character. They know all the lines. They know how to do it. Like we talk about costume. Like a big thing about me is for costume is like the color that they're wearing. Or like I remember I did a short film where one guy had like a blue mug and the other guy had a red mug, and the guy with the blue mug, you know, blue represents kind of like calmness and like intelligence and stuff like that. And that character was a nerdy, quiet guy. So, and then the other guy, you know, with the red mug was more like loud and outgoing. So like red is kind of like what that represents. So color is definitely, I always think about color in film.
What do you want before you leave? What do you want them to tell about?
What do you want to say about your film? So let me just say this is something I really found really fascinating about Alfred Hitchcock. So when the movie Psycho came out, he made a commercial, an announcement saying, if you're gonna watch my film in theaters, you can't be late. You can't bring babies or children. If you miss the showing, just get the one next. Like, cause he wanted to control the environment that the audience watched his film. Cause Alfred Hitchcock is very psychological. And he wanted to control the environment that you would watch his movie in, so you would get the best experience. So, I mean, I can't do that, but when you do watch my film, Daydream, you will have to watch the screen, pay attention, and just watch it. You can't just listen to the audio of it while you're on your phone. Like, you do have to focus on it, because it is I would like to say it's a sophisticated film. There's a lot of mysteries and a lot of things that there's a lot of information that you have to kind of assume. Like, well, for an example, Marcelina's married, but is having an affair with Lucas, and Robert is in love with Marcelina as well, but you've never met the husband. So like she says she's married, but you've never met the husband, so you just have to assume it's another man that's not in the film. And then there's a scene where Robert gets a note saying that something is going to happen, and it does happen, but it's not shown on camera. So you have to, like, the next scene is him reacting to what happened. So there's a lot of like mysteries where you don't really know what happens. You just have to be okay with that.
Alright, see you at your screening October 25th?
Yep, at the Silver Stream Studios, Montclair. The address will be in the description.
See you at the screening October 25th, my friend.
I'll see you there. Thank you for watching the show. And I hope you enjoyed it. And stay tuned October 25th for the release on YouTube. Follow us on our socials, links below. And reach out to Will. Will's Instagram if you're interested in going to the screening. The screening is going to be at 7 p.m. on October 25th, and there's still some room available, and we'd love for you to come. See you next time.